Hi, welcome to Inspire My Money
where we inspire you to do more with your money without a budget.
without a budget. Awesome. Today we're going to talk about 4 reasons why you should not be on a budget.
What?
Yes.
Not on a budget? Absolutely. Follow along here.
Here we go.
Reason number 1 you don't want to go on a budget is it doesn't address your emotions. There are so many emotions involved with money. There's positive emotions, there's negative emotions, there's people that are emotional spenders. All of that is part of us. So budgets are absolutely wonderful for corporations and businesses, right? There's a plan for your money, where the corporation's money is going. We're going to spend this much on marketing, we're going to spend this much on production development and all of these things, right? Businesses don't have emotions, right? Yes, of course the people involved do, but it's a really good plan. When it comes to individuals, and especially when it comes to couples, when you don't address those emotions, you set yourself up for failure. So you can have this beautiful budget where there's this nice little box that says, okay, you're supposed to spend this much on your rent and this much on your food and this much on your childcare. It doesn't address those emotions that we all feel about money. And so you set yourself up for failure, and it's not a good place to be.
So how does that fit into like everyday life though? Like, being on a budget. When you are on a budget, those emotions come out. How does that come out?
Well, that's reason number 2.
Okay. My turn. Reason number 2 is time. Time that you expend working on a budget, okay? Whether it's on an app, whether it's on your desktop at the bank, or whether it's on a piece of paper or Excel spreadsheet, you spend all this time going through all your expenses, figuring out how much you spend, what you should spend, what you shouldn't spend, what you want it to look like in the future. You spend a ton of time going through the bills, going through the statements, finding all the money, and then divvying it up. And it's a lot of energy, mental energy. It's a lot of mental draining energy on top of that, because you're like, this is just not looking pretty. And so the time spent on that is just too much, and it's a negative time spent. So it's not helpful.
Absolutely. And the problem really results when next month life happens, because who hasn't had life happen? Who
Right.
hasn't had a flat tire or the roof get a leak or all this, anything like
Crown
that, right?
come off.
Yeah. Dental work needed. The kid runs their bike into a tree. Life happens. And then all of a sudden your budget is just out the window because you haven't accounted for that. And so you spend all this time creating a budget and then you can't even follow it, and you don't. All right, that brings us to number 3. Number 3 is there is this negative cycle, emotional cycle that results because of budgeting. And I love to give the analogy that budgeting is like dieting. Have you ever been on a diet? Know anyone that has? What happens? The more you restrict yourself from something that you can't have, the more you obsess about it. This is a natural process in our brains. So you start obsessing. You're on a diet, and what is it that you can't have? Chocolate cake, or the nice
Pizza,
juicy hamburger,
donuts, all the good
French
stuff.
fries, right? All of these things, and you start thinking about them and obsessing about them because you're not supposed to have them. You talk to nutritionists and they're like, diets are garbage. Well, it's the same thing with your money. The more you restrict yourself, the more you say, oh, I can't go out to eat because my budget is only this much, or I can't go and buy a new pair of shoes because it's not in the budget. You start obsessing about those things. And now they just become this massive negative. And the more you can't have them, the more bad you feel inside yourself, not addressing those emotions once again. And it just is this cycle of negativity that just makes you quit the budget. And then you think you suck at money. And reality is you don't. The process is broken, not you. And that brings us to reason number 4 that you should never go on a budget.
So the 4th reason is your habits. And our habits as people, as humans, human beings, we have terrible habits.
Not always.
Well, I brush my teeth most of the time every morning. But our habits with money we revert back to them, to the old habits. And so budgeting kind of puts you in a position where you're going to revert back to your old habit. And the whole idea is to create these new habits. And we hope that this budget that we've created creates a new habit. But because it's set up for us so negatively, so restrictive, so much time, so much failure if we don't hit it just right, that the habit is, forget that, I'm just going to do what I know how to do. And that's just survival, usually, paycheck to paycheck, month to month, whatever it is. Just put the money over here and let it happen naturally. And so those habits are not changed. They're not formulated in a new fashion, a new way to help you move forward.